Hello everyone, in this video today we're going to be taking a look at an article from The Independent in the UK. It's written by Kashmir Gander. It was published on the 16th. I know I'm getting to it a little bit late, but I haven't seen anyone cover this, and once you we get into this and you take a look at what's going on here, you're just going to be like, oh god. And you're going to be doing the face plant to your head, face type, forehead, face type thing. Are man caves sexist? Well, if you look at the URL up here, okay, the page name is Man Caves Sexist Misogynistic Women Gender Shed A7 blah blah blah. I think you got an idea of where they're going with this. Now, I love this start right here, because you can tell this was written by a feminist, and the feminist is completely clueless to why what is going on is the actual case. When suicide kills more young men than anything else, we should encourage them to open up, not express themselves behind closed doors. Which, learn proper punctuation, should be open up, comma, not express themselves behind closed doors. The thing is feminists don't understand that this third wave feminism that they all worship, okay, this intersectional feminism that they all worship, the social justice that they all worship, all of it has created this situation, okay, on the note of feminism, okay, alone, just with the school system, public school systems, even to an extent in private schools now. They created an environment that favors girls over boys, okay, that plays to the strengths of girls over the, plays over the strengths of girls over the strengths of boys, okay. It actually, in some instances, actually kind of plays to the weakness of boys, like plays against it in a way that puts them at a disadvantage. Which has created the environment of why now we have more women going to college in the United States and in the West than you have men. So they've made it so that it's harder for men to have the same opportunities as them on the note of education. They then say that men can't act like men. And they want them to act more like women. They want them to express their feelings. All these things that they're doing, like that. The fact that you have them pushing this rape culture that they created, out of thin air, this complete work of fiction that 1 in 4 women are going to be raped in college, okay? So you've made it so that living as a male, as a man, is miserable. In doing so, and you've done a lot more than just the few examples I've given on the note of you feminists, okay, that are causing this situation where these men are killing themselves. See, but you've created this environment. And now you're trying to get rid of one of the last things that helps men keep their sanity. That is theirs. Because in a house, man caves are the only space that a man has that he can call his own. And even in this third wave feminazi society that you want, okay? Women rule the roost. They've ruled the roost. Even when you thought that they weren't equal, they controlled everything at home. So, heaven forbid, when the whole house is a woman's domain, a man carve out one small little section of that house that he calls his own. When in most cases, men are paying, half, if not well over half, if not all, of the expenses of the household. Why shouldn't they get space in a place they're paying for. To me, that makes complete sense. But no. We can't have that. And I love the projecting that's right off the bat here. Okay? Let's get into this article. Man grenade. Alternatives to bath bombs. Yeah, that isn't because men want bath bombs, okay? Bros wine. And man-sized tissues. There are plenty of things that prove masculinity is so fragile. But teetering at the top of the pile of useless gendered nonsense is the man cave. Well, okay. First off, this was probably done by a company that produces bath bombs, okay, with women, and said, we have a market that we haven't exploited because men don't take baths. Let's give them something that will make this appearance of it being masculine by renaming it and see if we can get them to take baths and sell a little more product. That's what that man grenade thing is. The bros wine, same exact thing. And I love how the fact that if this article here, I did a quick pass through. What they're trying to use is millennials are now drinking canned wine. And because there are male millennials, okay, and it's called man can or some shit like that, okay, which is obvious they're trying to target millennial men. Yeah, this is all about their masculinity. No, it's called marketing. Learn it. You should have at least a common grasp working in media of what marketing is. Alright? Because I hate to break it to you. Alright? Men don't tend to drink wine. What do you try to do? You try to you try to make it into a masculine product, which is the same case with the wine. And then man-sized tissues. I love this one. You leave it to a clueless, ignorant feminist to not understand the whole thing of man size. Because you used to have, alright, let's say t-shirts, for example. You didn't have women's, children's, and men's sizes. You had men's size and non-man size. When non-man size was unisex and was meant for women and children. That's what that comes from. It has nothing to do, okay, with proving, with our masculinity and it being fragile. So you trying to say that this stuff proves our masculinity is fragile? It is a fucking joke. Not only that, Kashmira, okay, men weren't the ones when James Damore memo got public notoriety, at Google going, oh, I need a day off. No, all right, because it said, women are emotional and all that other stuff. No, it was women who said, oh, I'm not emotional, but I need to take the day off because this upset me. So, yeah, nice projecting. And I love how you're going after the man cave here because this is the only fucking space that a man has that he calls his own. And you don't want men to have anything. But you want women to have everything because you're a fucking feminazi, Kashmira. To have a man cave is to truly live in the 1950s when women ruled the roost and men were Neanderthals who needed to hide their belongings away in a room where they can cast aside the burden of being civilized. No! Oh my God. No. Okay. Like the 1950s, you probably mid-30s, multi-cat having, feminazi couldn't find a man bitch, alright? The whole reason why, even today, okay, men have their own space is because women still rule the roost. But see, you don't want to admit that because, oh no, that would go against your whole, feminism is about equality shit because you still want to have that. But hey, screw you. I love this thing about the burden of being civilized. Okay, you know what? Who brought civilization to where it is? Was it women? No! It was men who created this civilization and brought it to this point. And it is you women who are causing us to kill ourselves and are destroying it. Trying to make your little feminist, female-dominant utopia, your little matriarchal society. It's disgusting. They are painted as havens where men can fart and drink beer really fast and swear and do whatever else it is that men stereotypically do. No, it's their own space where they can have their toys, okay, like, say, a home theater setup. It's a place where they, can be men, and fart in peace, because if you fart around your significant other, even years later, they kind of don't like the fact that you do it, all right? I know plenty of couple who, because the man might fart in his sleep in separate rooms. Yeah. When that's the case, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's not about drinking beer. Yes, some man caves will have a bar, okay? Especially, the 1970s den, male den type thing. But it's not about drinking beer, okay? I love how you bring that into this. You bring in these stereotypical things that aren't based in reality. Okay, if there's a football game on and people are watching, guys are watching the football game, there might be a couple beers, but it's not about drinking beer in these areas. But you're trying to make it about that. And swearing and whatever else men stereotypically do. I love how you're putting that whole stereotyping thing in, and you got no problem with it. That's disgusting. You're a sleazy person, Kashmira. Sure, men and women don't have to, and most certainly shouldn't hang out all the time. Well, it's clear that's what you want, and you want women dictating everything that's going on in a man's fucking life when you don't want them to have one little fucking space in a house that they're fucking paying minimum half on, most cases more. You're fucking disgusting. You are a disgusting person. But it isn't an entire cave in which to assert your masculinity a little much. Really? But it isn't an entire cave in which to assert your masculinity a little much? No! One room in a whole house that a woman dominates is a little much to you? Seriously. Kashmira, you're delusional. Even men's magazines like GQ have rejected the archaic idea. You mean the SJW leftist feminazi run and controlled supposed men's magazine that's got Keith fucking Olbermann making videos for them in his mom's basement? GQ has not been a men's magazine, okay, for a very long time. Alright? It's been a fucking feminazi propaganda tool. Okay, now a leftist SJW propaganda tool as well. Now, if you want to see what a men's magazine is, okay, Maxim covers stuff like this. And I'm sure they'd have no problems with men having man caves because it's not leftist SJW feminazis writing the content with Keith Olbermann, providing some content from his mom's basement. You people are pathetic. You're using GQ, which hasn't been an actual men's magazine for a very long time, to attack masculinity. Oh, if there were an actual men's magazine and they were saying it, you might have a case, but they're not. Besides, what exactly is a man cave anyway? And I love this, because now you want to attack what little space a man manages to acquire in a home he's paying on and for, in part if not fully. And attack the fact of that space, and make fun of the fact of what their space is and attack it. Goes to show how sleazy you are, Kashmira. Man caves have no real definition, as they have sort of come to life in popular media and popular imagination, says Tristan Bridges. Ah! So you get a woman. You're not asking a man. You're asking a woman about man caves. Okay? That would be like asking a man about what a period is like. Okay? That would be like asking a man, okay, about, the menstrual cycle. Like their personal experience. You see how fucking delusional you sound, and the lunacy of what you're trying to push here? You're using a woman, an assistant professor at the assistant professor, Department of Sociology at the University of California, Santa Barbara, who has studied and visited numerous man caves. She's not even all right, number one. If you're going to have an quote-unquote expert on man caves, I think a prerequisite to being an expert on what man caves are would be a man. Maybe, that might kind of be a thing that you should be looking for. Oh, wait, no, you're trying to push this third wave feminazi intersectional SJW bullshit. And try to destroy the one last space where men get to be men. Okay? Which, if you get rid of this, you're going to see way more suicides. And you're trying to talk about your concern for us men. You don't give a shit about us men, bitch. All you care about is yourselves and control over men. Because you want to dominate men. That's clear when women control a whole house and you don't want a man to have, a little tiny room or a garage or a section of the basement or anything like that he can call his own. I mean, this is freaking disgusting. Oh, so Tristan here. Let's see what else she has to say. I think most people think of man caves as sports dens, rooms with leather sofas, billiard tables, and in-home bars. No. That's what women think of them as. That's not what men think of them as. Okay? But see, you're trying to portray this, and I don't even think that you truly believe that's what you thought it was. Okay? You're trying to portray this picture so that you can make it grandiose, and then you're going to go, this is what this dude's man cave is, and you're going to pick on some poor guy. Watch. Billiard tables and in-home bars. I love that. The in-home bars. No, that's like the 1970s den. I love how your idea of things is the 1970s den. Were you watching an episode of Brady Bunch? And you saw Mike's den? And you said, oh, I'll describe a man cave like this. I mean, Mike's den is that minus the billiard table. I think they did have a bar in the back. I could be wrong, though. I haven't watched the Brady Bunch in years. But you're kind of describing Mike's den. And no one in this day and age that's a man is going to have a man cave like that. But I found the term is used more widely to talk about home spaces that are culturally masculine in one way or another. Exactly. See, if you were a man, you would know that. It's about a personal space that's a man's, that he can call his own, considering a woman calls the whole house her own. Because even in a kid's room, it's not even kids' rooms are their spaces, okay? Because, a mother can walk into a kid's room, which is supposed to be their space, and dictate what goes on in that space. Clean your damn room. Even if it's not that messy, clean your damn room, but clean it, so don't even, all right? They go around the whole house and they dictate like that, all right? So one little space where a man has a space that's his own, and if a woman goes in and tries to say something, which most men usually cave and have limitations, put on them in their man caves, so it's not like it's truly their own space, but you still don't even want them to have what is mostly their space, if not fully their space. You are a disgusting person. Sometimes this isn't in obvious ways that you or I might describe as masculine at a glance. Oh, God. Because you get this stereotypical idea of what masculinity is. But other times, this has a distinct meaning for the couples whose homes have gendered spaces like puzzle rooms, tinkering dens, or black rooms dedicated to developing photography. I love how you, all right, I love how you try to take these other spaces. Okay, dark rooms, not black rooms, dark rooms are gender neutral. Puzzle rooms, gender neutral. Tinkering dens, gender neutral. But yet you're trying to make them sound like they are women. Well, they technically are, considering all those rooms would be run by the women, where they still rule the roost today in the home. But see, you mid-30s, 40-year-old feminists who have, claim, that you're on dating sites, claim you don't want children, but you really do, because you've got all these cats and little dogs that you call your fur babies. You have no clue about this type of stuff, because your environment is all your own. Because you got no man. And now you're trying to tell men in their relationships how things should be, when their relationships seem to be going along perfectly fine. I mean, this is messed up. Tristan agrees that man caves support gender inequality in the home. These safe spaces often play on the cultural notion that men really can't be themselves when women are around. Because they can't, because you won't let men be men, because you want men to be emotional and feeling and act like fucking women. So heaven forbid that they give you what you want and do that, but they have one area where they call their own and act like a man. The idea that men need their own space, separate and away from everyone else, is a privileged position. And even when couples I've interviewed use the term tongue-in-cheek, I still think the spaces support inequitable relationships between men and women. No, they don't. And it's not a privileged position. How is it privileged? Okay, when women control the whole fucking house. How is it privileged that men get a little space that they call their own, when everything else is the woman's, when the overwhelming majority of it is the woman's? Okay, that's privilege. That is privilege right there, when women control the whole fucking house. But heaven forbid men get a little tiny space, because to you feminazis, men getting to have their own little space in an environment that isn't their own, okay, for the most part, if they get that space, it isn't for the most part, that's a privilege. No, being a fucking woman in this day and age is privilege. It's for many years been a privilege. Okay? Because you haven't had to, so, all right? Even when it was, quote unquote, not, you weren't privileged, quote unquote, not privileged. You had everything handed to you. All right? I mean, to me, you get everything handed to you, that's being privileged. That's a silver spoon up your ass. And I'm not, and I believe in full equality, and I'm saying something like that. Because you try to portray like, oh, women were completely repressed and had nothing. No. They were taken care of. That's being privileged. And now you want that, and to be able to still have all the old shit like this. Control. And not let a man have one little area that he calls his own. I can't believe that you're going to say that that it supports inequitable relationships between men and women. But maybe we are being a little harsh. Why shouldn't men have their own space to potter around and relax in the home? Author of the Man Cave book, Mike Yost, sees hideaways as a force of good. Yeah, they are. Asked whether they are sexist, he says he's heard this accusation a lot, but says it's a misconception. Because it is. It's one that you feminazis have, and you've been trying to make it sound like, oh, look at this, man has his own space in a house that a woman fucking controls, that he's paying at least half on, if not more, in pretty much all the cases. You gotta love that fucked up shit. Every spouse I've talked to is fully on board with the concept. As you know, if the spouse doesn't approve of a man cave, it just doesn't happen. Yeah, exactly, because women control the household. It allows a bit of privacy that you can get when going to a public place. Depending on the theme, it provides a place for a guy to showcase items he has cherished over the years, or his favorite sports team. Like with everything, using the man cave sparingly can be healthy and beneficial. Yeah, exactly. Nobody runs into the man cave to hide from the family, unless you got a feminazi fucking psychopathic bitch for a wife. Just the opposite. The man cave brings families together. which they pretty much do because they're home theaters and things like that usually. They are used by the whole family and is a great place to entertain. Again, because man caves have things like, you know, big screen TVs, surround sound audio, if we're talking like a done-up man cave. You know, they're used by the whole family and a great place to entertain. It's a healthy hobby that is never completed. The man cave is always going through some type of change, which makes it fun. Yeah, that sounds great, but what Yost is describing sounds suspiciously like a living room. No! Because the living room is all frilly and lacy, you stupid bitch. Kashmira, that's what a living room is, okay? It's got throw pillows on the fucking couch and shit like that. It's not a man space. It's not a place where a man has masculinity around him and can be a man. But you see, you want to hide that fact. You're trying to completely conflate what a man cave is with what a living room is. It also stands in contrast with Bridges' findings, in that most man caves are incomplete and go largely unused. No, this is personal fucking opinion of your little friggin' Tristan feminazi fucking sociologist who thinks she's an expert because she's been to a couple man caves. I was invited into one man's man cave that was an empty garage with 2 trash cans flipped over and a piece of plywood placed on top of them, recalls Bridges. Oh, wait, no, yeah. So this is the feminazi. I asked if we were in the cave, and he laughed at me. It was a man cave in his mind. He had big dreams for the place, but thus far they were unrealized. No. You asked him if it was a man cave, and he laughed at you because he's like, it's a fucking garage. See, you're trying to do this conflation here, and you're trying to make it sound like, you know, look at this. This is his man cave. This is why he doesn't need it. It's just a garage. It's his own personal space. Which, on the note of garages, ever watch Home Improvement? That was Tim the Toolman Taylor's man cave. That man cave was actually very beneficial to the family. It was a place where him and the kids spent time together working on projects like hot rods. It was a place where Tim was able to work on the British car that Jill bought with the kids, and keep that on the road for her. It was used by the family. It was enjoyed by the family. But yet, you're trying to go, look at this idiot with his garage. You're a fucking mean bitch. You really are, Tristan. Lots of men I've interviewed, particularly younger men successful enough to be able to dump income into a room like this, don't use these spaces. Bullshit. Their man cave is their living room. If they're in their own fucking apartment, their man cave's their living room, and they're freaking spending all their time in it. I love how clueless you are. They might have a room where they put, say, their collectibles, but that's not a man cave and a bachelor pad. But see, she ain't going to tell you that. And because it's not a man cave and they use it to store collectibles, it's not going to get used that much. It's a storage area. They spend incredible amounts of time putting them together, but don't have the time, friends, or interest actually using the rooms for the purpose they tell me the spaces are intended. This is all a feminazi talking out of her ass. She don't know what she's talking about. But when the pressure of masculinity is literally killing men, no, it's the pressure of feminazis that is literally killing men. It is you stupid bitches that are causing these men to kill themselves. Take it from a man. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't want to accept that you're the fucking reason that they're doing it, that they're offing themselves. Fuck, if I had to be around either one of you two, I'd probably put a gun to my head and pull the fucking trigger. And then you go, oh, it was his masculinity. Even if I had written in my suicide note, it was either one of you two bitches that caused me to blow my fucking brains across a wall, okay? You'd still go, it was toxic masculinity, it was masculinity, okay? And they'd be going, no, he left a suicide note. He said it was you that caused him to kill himself. No, it was masculinity, I swear. And they're going to be like, no, he said it. And they're going to be like, no, that's not true. And they're going to try to rip the fucking suicide note out of the fucking cop's hands and tear it up and go, oh, he didn't leave a suicide note. It was masculinity that caused his death. I mean, that's the type of delusional state you feminazis are in. It's disgusting. Suicide takes the lives of more men aged between 20 and 49 than road accidents or heart disease in the UK. Perhaps it's wrong to dismiss the idea that they need unique ways to express themselves and share their emotions. No, again, the reason why they're killing themselves, men between that age, is because if you look, these are the men that have had the brunt of this third wave feminist feminazi shit thrown on them. These are the ones who have fucking taken most of the cannon fodder thrown at them from it. But see, you want to ignore that fact because you can't accept responsibility for literally killing these men. So what do you try to do? You try to get rid of the last fucking thing they have that lets them keep their sanity, that stops them from splattering their brains across a wall. It's disgusting. You know, it worked for so long until you third wave feminists came along. I mean, that's an easy correlation. Suicides go up, third wave feminism comes in, you've got them fucking with education, suicides start going up. It's literally cause and effect. Accept it. Enter the men's shed movement. I love this. This is such fucking pathetic shit. Because heaven forbid men have a space in the house. No, not anymore. Because feminists don't want that. They want them to have a space outside that isn't even their own. Enter the men's shed movement. Notice the removal of degrading term cave. How is cave degrading? Okay, man cave goes to the idea of caveman. Back when the domicile was truly a man's domain. It wasn't controlled by women. That's where this came from. So how is that degrading? You're the ones making it degrading. You're the ones that are saying it's sexist, it's misogynistic. You're the ones fucking whining. Get over yourselves. Started in Australia, these are spaces where men come together to take part in traditionally masculine activities, including woodwork, metalwork, repairing, and restoring. Women who like these things can come along too. They are growing at a rate of 8 per month in the UK. So basically, these are places that are sponsored, where men can go, and women are going to show up and be on their hip, and not allow them to be men and be by themselves. See... Oh my God! Because you women, you feminazis, you don't have men, but you got to keep your eyes on men. Because if you ever get a man, you're going to be afraid they're going to leave you, cheat on you. Oh, I'm going out for a pack of cigarettes or scratch tickets and fucking never come back. Oh, I'm running to the store to get soda and never come back. I mean, whatever the excuse. This is what you're worried about. You're worried about them chewing off their fucking arm one night and you waking up with the arm under your neck around it like a fucking scarf. I mean, this is what this is basically saying, that you got to keep eye on men, because men, they're sleazy. You can't let them be off on their own, because you're saying, well, women can go here, because heaven forbid, men have a place where they can be men and be by themselves and be just men. Okay, and on the note of men being men, okay, when you have environments like, say, in the employment world, where men are the dominant group in a profession, you women want men to stop being men and change how they act. But you're trying, men should be able to act like men. Well, yeah, but you won't let us. No matter where it is, you won't let us. So we get our own space, and we can be men there. Oh, no. You get rid of man caves, and all you feminists, and you third-wave feminazis, the brain matter splattered across walls is all going to be on you. That's a matter of fact. It's not uncommon to hear from men who hadn't spoken to another human in weeks before finding a shed, or who had lost their wife, their only companion, and had lost the will to live themselves, says Victoria Little, the Director of Services of the UK's Men's Shed Association. Okay, well, here's the thing. So you're trying to equate millennials and Gen Xers to baby boomers, because that's what you're trying to do here. You're trying to conflate the two. You're talking about little old men who don't have the social networking that younger individuals have, and going, oh, look at them. It's working for them. Well, yeah, because they're a different generation. The term man cave suggests the activity is very solitary in nature, where a man might hide away on his own. No, that's complete bullshit. Because talking about cavemen, you had literally whole, I guess you could say, you know, beyond families, you had whole tribes living in caves. Okay, when you look in the animal kingdom, say with bears, you have mating pairs and their children living in caves. It's not about solitary. I love how you try to ignore the historical evidence and facts about animal kingdom doing it, on the note of it being not solitary. You try to go, oh, no, that's feelings over fact. Feelings over fact. Let's sweep this under the rug, and that's what you're doing with that. Okay, so calling you out on it. Men's sheds are the opposite of that. It's all about social engagement and connecting over shared purpose and interest, and of course, some good chat and tea to oil the conversation. So what you want is a place that isn't at home, where men are going to have women around them. They can't be men and not have their own personal space. You can say it. Come on, Kashmir. You can admit it. You're a vindictive, man-hating bitch. Come on. You can say it. I know you're going to, if you ever watch this video, you're going to be like, yeah, and I'm proud of it. Many men, though of course not all, find it much more difficult to socialize than women do, and activities put on by organizations for people later in life with the aim to social engagement are taken up by far more women, including social dining and lunch clubs, books clubs, knit and natter, with less provision to engage older men. This is why men's shits are so... So you're trying to... Now you're bringing in the old people, and I love how you ignore a couple facts with this. Okay. This is complete bullshit that men find it difficult to socialize, because women, you're projecting here, are the ones that have difficulty socializing. Why? Because you all fucking hate each other. You all backstab each other. You all talk behind each other's backs. Okay? Alright, I shouldn't say all. The overwhelming majority, because there might be that one fucking unicorn out there that doesn't do it. But for the most part, women, you do that. You backstab each other. You hate each other. You look at each other as competition. Men, we're literally like King of the Hill. Okay? We meet new guys. It's like the idea of the back alley at King of the If Okay? If there's beer or whatever involved, okay, even if there's nothing to say, we're like, yep. And we get along. But you want us to be all touchy-feeling and be like you. And actually be friendly. See, but the problem is, we can't be like you and actually be friendly. It's just, and then this fact of what you're talking about with women, when you talk about getting older, Kashmir, you got to be clearly a millennial and don't grasp the concept that men, because of the fact of the professions we work, like the ones that you don't want to work, like construction, coal mining, all those shitty jobs that women don't want to do, cause us to end up in an early grave. The fact that we work more puts us in an early grave, which means there are less men, which means more women are sitting there by themselves and need to socialize, which is the reason why you have all these activities put on organizations that women do, okay, that, like the social dining and lunch clubs, the book clubs, the knit and natters, all that. It's because there are more women alive at that older age than there are men. Because you know why? It's you women drive us into an early fucking grave. Especially now with this third wave feminist shit. Okay, it is women like you that are causing men, as I've said, to splatter their brains across the wall. Okay, it is women like you that cause men to create a work of art with their brain matter that resembles a Jackson fucking Pollock. It's your faults. Own up to it. It's not our faults. that we're killing ourselves? Well, okay, ultimately, yeah, if you choose to pull the trigger, it's your fault. But what's driving you to do it? It's not our fault, men to do it. It's not our fault, it's yours. That's why men's sheds are such a breakthrough. They're not a breakthrough. It's an area where men go off and women can be there and spy on them and keep tabs on them. And that's what you want. To be able to come to the shed and work and help others gives me a great deal of satisfaction. I feel a sense of worth and love the way all the men work together, said one man who joined the movement. Yeah, some little old man who had no one to socialize with, I'm sure. So men, don't hide away in your man cave. Stop being afraid to express yourselves in plain view of everyone else. It might just do you some good. You want to get rid of our man caves, bitch. You want us to be like you and be all emotional. If we were all emotional, okay, we would act like the stupid bitches at Google that got upset about James Damore's memo saying that women are emotional and didn't come in. And anyway, I think I'm going to leave this here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.